Previously on Shoky Reviews Gunpla. The Titan's prototype. And I don't care what anybody says, it's a Gundam. Bandai says it's a Gundam, because it says so right there. And it says so on the wiki, it's a Gundam. Alright, so here we have the Hazel, all nice and built, and I will say right off the bat, I really dig this guy, which is the beam saber holding hand. You don't get a standard fist, you don't get a closed hand, and you only get one style of left hand. I find that really strange. It actually looks pretty good like that. It's a good little machine gun, I dig it. Now one thing you'll notice, guys, I don't have any of the marking stickers on here, and also, when we get into the details, I did not paint any extra details, at least yet. It's the stupidest shield connection I've ever seen. You bump it, and it'll just pop right off. Shield booster, if I remember correctly. All these yellow bits were actually separate molded parts. So, I mean, they did a lot of good things with molding and color separation, but then there's some things that they just, skimped on. And that'll be all the things that do need to be painted, and as I was saying before, the painted details will probably come later. I will do an update video and cut a little tiny sliver off and stuck it in there for effect. I actually did the same thing right there on the gun. Speaking of back here, these all need to be gray, all the little butt thrusters. Painting the insides of these thrusters that same yellow, that is not going to be easy. But I really do dig this kit. Movement, so he's not going to get a super great high teacher. He can do an okay one, like so. Can touch his own shoulder, like so. Oh my. Oh. Oh my. Stupid thrusters always want to fall off. But you can spread out pretty good. You don't need to go all the way around, right? That's silly. So it's like a 1.5. I wouldn't stress it too far because it's just gonna stand here. Yay! He's like, yeah. Hello, my name is Hazel, and I can feel it now. Painting those is gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt a lot. It's gonna hurt my brain. I can't see here. This stupid little thruster. But I mean, other than some of the minor nitpicks. Oh yeah, by the way, these need to be orange too, just to save my own butt. I suggest going ahead and doing that. Now don't go too deep, but you can see, just drilled the hole out. That's actually pretty good looking right there. Gundam! Gundam! TR-1. Hazel Custom. Hazel Custom. What's up, guys? So, like I said last time on the Hazel review, I was going to go ahead and do the extra paintwork and decals and stuff like that after the fact. So I went ahead and did that, and this is how it came out. I don't even understand how the Hazel became Wally, but it did. So, okay, I'm messing with you. So I'm going to do a quick paint montage. Not exactly a build montage, but I went ahead and recorded so you can get the time lapse of me updating and cleaning up the Hazel. So let's go ahead and cut to that. Alright guys, now that the paint montage is done, here is the completed Gundam Hazel TR-1 custom, or TR-1 Gundam Hazel custom. Words and things. So, this thing took quite a bit of paint work and a little bit of detail work, every little bit. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand. As we covered in the last thing, if you guys really want to be able to put it on a stand, just drill a hole right there in the crotch, and there goes the dumb shield. Okay, well the shield's got no extra details, so let's just kick it off to begin with. Go ahead and straighten out all the joints here, so we can get a closer look at Mr. Hazel here. Now, first and foremost, I glued the stupid crest on. I got tired of it popping off. It popped off multiple times just while I was handling it. Went ahead and, just glued it down and assembled it. It was actually pretty good. Now, this thing did get all the little decals. So you get the Titans logo here. You get the Titans test team logos, well, all over the place, even this little tiny one. Now, one thing you need to do, if you're going to place them on things like here, it's going to, go over the edges quite a bit. So you want to actually take a knife and trim down some of the excess. So you can see even still, I missed a little bit. So I can trim off some of that excess right there. Or else it'll end up peeling up from the edges, and nobody wants that crap. So you can see how it's kind of rolled over the edge here. Or if I was even looking at the camera, you can see it's kind of rolled over the edge there. So it's always good. Now there's a few of those places. That one in particular was a significantly bad one. Now up here, this big one on top of the shield booster, you can see it's got some wrinkles right there where, it's kind of an irregular surface. So I did actually trim down those edges. Let me go ahead and pull this guy out of here, because we can see other details where they removed. So this thing actually was a square sticker completely, so the edges would have come way over here and just been not good. But as I was saying, you can see a really nasty wrinkle right in there. Why is my camera just not focusing on things? There we go. So yeah, looks good otherwise, but it's going to be a 5-foot job. That's the only one I've got on here. So the other side, I could have painted the whole inside of this thing gray. That would have taken way too long. I could have painted the inside of these thruster, little booster part here, gray. Would have been very, very difficult to actually get the brush in there, and this thing doesn't disassemble very easily. Now, I did take this thing apart quite a bit, as you guys probably saw in the build montage. It was actually stripped down pretty good. Had the arms pulled off, had the legs pulled off, the backpack back here. Now, I talked about it in the actual review. So I painted this gray, but I did not try to paint the little bits red. If I had like an ultra fine, tiny little brush, maybe I could have. And I will say, this is definitely significantly darker than at least the images show. They want a lighter gray, like a bit lighter than even the frame here. And I wasn't about to try to dig through my markers and find that exact one. So I went with my favorite dark gray ever, including this little part right in here. These little bits here, and there, and just tried to clean those up with just a sharp edge of a knife. Worked out pretty good. This spot is actually needs a little bit more cleaning. Maybe I can just do it on camera here. Maybe. This knife is not quite as good as my normal ones. That's why this is usually my unboxing knife. See if it'll clean that edge. I don't even know what it's scraping, but I doubt it was scraping where I wanted it to. So I'll forget about it for now. Other things that needed attention. You got gray here on the little nubbin, right here in the slot, right here in these little bits, and inside the thrusters front and back. So took the legs completely apart to do that. Actually, it wasn't too hard because there is actually a recessed area. So as long as you stayed within the edges, it was actually a fairly clean paint job. I did have to clean up just a tad here and there. Now these caution stickers back here, there was no actual directions for where they go, but I figured they would go behind the largest thrusters realistically. And of course, you get the same paint treatment inside the legs. Same thing with the Titans test team stickers. They're all over this thing, including a big one on the butt. Also trimmed down just a little edge so it wouldn't be hanging over, though it does actually touch right inside there, and I hate it. All the little butt thrusters right here all got some gray. Once again, that should have been a lighter gray. Couldn't do anything better. The inside of the thrusters got yellowed, and that is honestly one of the better jobs that I've managed to do while just freehanding with a paintbrush. I got the yellow as close as I could. It's a little bit more orange than I'd like it to be. The little paint palette I had literally just a little bit of red still in it, so the farther I got along, the darker some of the yellow got. So even if it was brighter yellow at the beginning, it ended up turning a little bit darker red. Now these little thruster bits right here, same difference. They got the paint job and got some gray on the inside right there. These actually came out fairly clean. There's just a little bit of excess right in there. For the most part, you're not going to see it. This side actually is really, really clean. The shoulders right here, same thing. So you got to split these apart. Of course, the vents go on one side, painted those gray, and then the surrounding inner edge all gets the yellow treatment. I think in some ways this thing is a little bit of a predecessor, kind of getting me ready for all the little yellow details that I'm going to have to do on Atlas, which I know is going to be a nightmare. Now, the V-fin down here was actually the very last thing I did because I forgot about it, so I had to get just the tiniest little bit of yellow paint and just kind of dab it on there. Once again, I need a super fine little brush to get in there. Now, one detail that I know that I don't even remember who exactly was asking for it, but made sure that I got the red fingers. So you got the red fingertips right there, and they are in fact only pretty much on the inside and just the fingertips. So that's actually a nice little detail. Same thing on the gun holding hand. I did have to add one extra coat right here because it was darkening up from the first go around. I did in fact get a little bit of gray paint on the gun, just on the barrel, on the sight, and then the not barrel on the backside. You can see that, just so it's not entirely blue. Where else did I do any kind of work? it's kind of hard to remember. These little bits down here on the feet got some gray. I didn't clean them up super good. Don't really care. They're mostly covered. But, you know, just having it gray helps. I could have done the little kind of pistons right in there, like the Mark II tends to have, or the Barzam. I could have done them in chrome. Didn't really want to. Oh, I totally forgot about these guys. Yeah, these things, the little side thrusters here. These were a pain. So the inside there is just panel liner. So just put it on a little bit thick, and then had to paint the best I could around it with the yellow, and then come back and clean it up. They came out pretty good, but those are a pain because they're so narrow. But, you know, the end result actually made this guy look so much nicer. I mean, it's not a massive change, but just adding the extra little bits of color, even with the Titans logo here on the chest, on the shoulder here, totally makes a difference. Now, there's only a couple stickers I didn't use. One is the giant TR sticker that goes on the shield. I hate that. Just it's a hideous thing, and plus it's hard to get it to go over this, from what I've seen. The other one I didn't use was the big sticker that goes on the butt back here. I didn't want it to have a tramp stamp, so I didn't go for that. And I think this it makes it look a little bit cleaner. And there was no instruction about where this Titan emblem would go, so I went ahead and threw it back here. And same with the caution emblems that are on the legs. No instructions that I saw, so it went up here on the back booster. I figure that's a good place for it since this is a booster. So you're not going to see it once it's covered, but hey, it is what it is. I'm actually very proud of this. It came out very, very nice. Though there's some yellow paint got right in there somehow. There's not even yellow paint back here, so how did that even happen? I must have been laying near something I was painting, or I splashed it. Weird. Just scrape it clean. Okay, I got it. But yeah, I really like the Hazel. And guys, I know there has been a whole lot of argument. Even to the point that I've deleted comments. The fight over the Hazel is done. It's a Gundam. I'm done with the argument. I'm done with the arguments so much that there is going to be a Shoky Nerdcast specifically over what is a Gundam and what is not a Gundam. So that's going to be coming up. I'm going to have a couple special guests, hopefully, on that, including somebody who's been on the showcase, in fact. So that should be fun. Oh, I totally forgot. Hold on. I've got extra stuff. The beam saber hand got red fingertips. So the only thing that didn't get painted, now that I'm remembering, was these little guys. So little, I don't know what they are. Rocket launchers. Don't know. Don't care. Don't need them. Not using them. So basically, guys, you know, I'm over the arguing. It's fine. I love this Gundam. It's actually really cool. The details were worth it. They really were. I look forward to building the other Hazels, because I know SteelAngelJohn really wanted to see them. Of course, I want to see them. I bought them. And this guy is actually pretty neat. And it evokes a bit of Virtue, a little bit of Cervi. And you guys know, I love those kits. I love those Gundams. And this is just awesome. So I'm going to have to get a quick photo shoot, put this thing out there. If you're not following me on Instagram, I do upload photos whenever I do reviews, usually before as a teaser, and then, you know, after a review, I usually will post a bunch of pictures that I've taken post-review. And this guy is pretty photogenic now, so I'm going to go ahead and get some of those photos. But if you missed the normal review, go back and do that. I'll put a link right up here, right here. It'll be a ping right up there at the top. But this is just a nice little update showing off how it gets, you know, whenever it's finished. So the first thing was pretty much straight out of the box with no real extra details. This is completed, at least to the degree that I, you know, can do. Somebody else, I don't even know who it was, recently did one very, very nicely with just panel shading and stuff like that, which is something I want to learn how to do. So we'll get there one day, guys. But if you like this, make sure you like and subscribe. If you're new here, welcome. This is awesome. And if you like the Hazels, go get one. Or 2 or 7. Build you up a nice little Hazel team. Because, you know, big chunky Gundams are awesome. I don't know why I'm clicking the heels. Yay! Anyways, put this guy back on the stand. Put him on the stand. He's on trial. I'll catch you guys on the next review and on Master Grade Monday. And remember, as always, keep on building.